Hey, check this out, boys. Check this out, baby. You locked in for another episode of Really Speaking the Podcast. And today, like, as I tell y'all, I got special guests, but to have this young lady next to me, uh, somebody that I consider family, somebody that I grew up watching, and to see the transformation of who she is today, man, it's kind of like I'm lost for words. But without further ado, therapist Mickell D, how you feeling? Cause
What's up? What's
what's up,
up?
cuz? Hey, I'm sitting here like, dog, this my little cousin. Like, you literally didn't like transform. Like, I'm sitting here, I was reading and looking at all the stuff you've been doing. I'm like, damn, like you on a new path. So the question I always want to ask people is like, you got breaking points and you got turning points. What was your turning point? Like, to just be like, man, I'm tired. I gotta do something different. Because mine's is similar where it's like I don't want to go out the same way I came in. So that's kind of like my thing. Like, okay, I know it's a lot of people that I love that they going out the same way they came in, and they okay with that. I'm not okay with that. So I'm just like, okay, I'm gonna go out a different route. So what was like your turning point?
My turning point is honestly when I got my first, it's a mixture of two things. So the first thing is when I first got my first apartment. And what I mean my first apartment, like my first apartment that was out of the inner city. It was on 37th and Good Hope, right? So for me, that was out the city, right? But I remember moving there and I just remember looking around like, wow, like it's different. Like it's not just the inner city. And that might sound weird to some people, but when you grew up in the hood like I grew up in, it's literally like a cage. So I remember that moment where I'm like, wow, it's so different. I want different. And I started not really wanting to be on 19th like that no more. Like I just wanted to explore what was different. So I remember having that aha moment.
So so in the process of like having your first, apartment, like my question is, what were some of the challenges you had? Because this is the thing. I wake up every day trying to do better. I'm not trying to be better than nobody but the last person I was yesterday or a better version of myself.
Mm-hmm.
So how was that battle within friends and family with the who you think you is
Mm-hmm.
dealing with some of that? Because in our community, like, we look at your success as our failures.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like when they say you talk like a white dude.
Mm-hmm.
You mean proper English?
Mm-hmm.
So like, how was that though? How was that? Because I know you probably was nitpicked and bothered
Mm-hmm.
because when you don't have examples of what you're trying to be, far as in your immediate, how did you
Mm-hmm.
deal with that though? Like, how was that?
Man, if I'm gonna be 100 funky with you,
We don't really speaking. We really
that
speaking.
was the hardest thing, and it's still hard. I have to go through therapy for that. Like, that's hard. When you grew up with people, you took baths with people,
Mm-hmm.
you we was like sisters growing up, and just other family members. But really, I'm talking about when you ask me that question, I immediately go to my cousins I grew up with, and then also extended people that I grew up with.
Mm-hmm.
And it was hard because it's like, dang, y'all don't get me, like y'all don't get me. And if I'm being all the way 100, when I look back, I'm like, some of y'all didn't like me since we was little, you know. Some of y'all, I had a light. Now that I know who I am, I
Yeah.
had a light about me since I was born. I can't fight that. But it's disheartening because when you make it to a certain level and then you feel misunderstood, you feel like you feel so alone. You feel like dang, y'all just pushing me to the side. You hear the rumors. You hear, and I care. I was a person who cared about everything everybody said. I was a people pleaser. So that just really hurt my feelings when they didn't get me. I got the, oh, she thinks she better than, and I used to let that get to me to the point where I went back to the hood. Meaning I started kicking it again. I started being trying to prove like I'm still y'all, I'm still this, but that didn't work. That
Mm.
didn't work. Cause my calling, my purpose was bigger. Like that just wasn't gonna fly.
Well, you know what? I feel like the whole time I knew you, you always been like, you've been family first. You always been loyal. You always been like, shit, this my brother, this my people. But you always was outnumbered. And what I mean by that is, it ain't enough like-minded people that could be like, man, this bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
But you always been like down. So I think when you finally came up out of that, which ever since I knew you, you had like this level of maturity. Like you never been like, to be honest with you, I don't even remember kiddish shit about you. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, like before I was like kiddish, childish, you always been like just kind of a little bit ahead of your curve as far as like your maturity. Almost being like one of the first to have your own crib, the first to actually take that leap. So I just think, as you when I was watching you was young, it's funny to say this, but when I look back in hindsight, I didn't see that then, but I look now and say, oh, she had hope. I look at people like my brother, like Big Man, ain't no hope for bro.
Oh yeah, yeah.
He gonna be who he is until it's over. But you look at certain people like, okay, they got some hope. So what was that thing from the hood that like shaped you and re-silenced you to make you the entrepreneur you is today?
Man, so even with you standing with that hope, I didn't know, like, you know how it is, like, growing up. Like, everybody love Auntie Liz, right?
Love her.
But look how serious he is.
Yes.
They do not play about my mama, right?
Mm-mm.
But for me, I didn't know who my mom was. Like, for me, that was my mom. So I used to think, like, oh, she just irritating, she overbearing, until I started working with youth. And I started seeing how they moms talk to them. And I'm like, my mama ain't never called me no bitch. My mama ain't never told me. My mama used to tell me, you gonna be better than me. You pay attention. It ain't who you know is what you. I mean, it ain't what you know all the time. It's who you know. Like my mom used to pour into me, "You're beautiful." When I used to get teased growing up by my big forehead, being tall, and all of those things, my mom poured into. Listen, nigga, don't be laughing.
You did have a big ass.
Shut up. See, he was part of them ribs, y'all. And y'all see how I'm wearing my forehead out with my little Eddie and everything, y'all.
I'm proud of it now.
You know what I'm saying? Like, society be lying to us. It be tricking us. Like, but saying that to say, my mom gave me my hope. But my turning point for me, just with the family and things like that, I had that hope. But enough for me was it just had to be better. Like, this just couldn't be it. And it just couldn't be it.
I feel you. Because I like, man, it's so hard, like, to just really, to understand that the people that knew you the most will be the last person to see you. Because a lot of people, just be real, people only have access to the old you. Meaning the old ideas, the old version of what they see.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of people don't have the access to the new you. So they can't really go off anything but what they genuinely remember. And that's okay. That's not who I am no more. That's your version of me. I've been elevated from that. So I think about that when I listen to your story, but I noticed that you often mention 53206. How did, like, coming from that environment, like, shape your purpose though?
Okay, I see what you're saying as well. Like, growing up in 53206 is everything. It's all a part of me. It's in me. Like, I'm gonna go back to your other question as well. It shaped me being an entrepreneur because I often, like, I remember being embarrassed and trying to shield that part of me because, again, society make us think like, oh, if you did this, you can never be this, since you already did everything society told you you're supposed to do. Growing up in that environment, there's no hope for you. So I remember, like, growing up and realizing it's okay to tell my story. When I was doing TEDx and when they were coaching me and they were just telling me about my story and the power, for the first time, I said out loud, I used to sell drugs. And it's like I felt so relieved. And when I did that, I embraced who I was. And then I thought about how everything I do as far as a business owner, the streets taught me. Like, if you really think about it, like when you know, like when I'm slipping on my money, I go back to my street mentality. Like, wait a minute, you know the formula. You save this amount, you sell this amount, you say this, you put this here, you monitor this, you see the breakdown of this. And I'm like, society making me run from that. But the further I run back to that, who I am at my core, the better I become an entrepreneur, because it was already the tools there. It was already, but I now choosing to do it the other way. So it plays everything in there. Everything I know, how to pay attention in those rooms and different environments. It's everything you be observing. You be like, oh, no, a dog on some. You know what I mean? Like, it shaped everything in me. Like, it's really in me. Like, I'm really her. Like, it's duality, for real, for real. And that's why I am who I am, because they need the, the us's that can go in all the rooms.
Yeah.
Why settle for one when you can go in all the rooms?
Hey, I like that, because I ain't gonna lie, because I remember them times. I even remember the car. I think it was man, it was a time, nigga, your ass was so hot. Nigga, you running out the crib high 9 pieces. I remember all that shit, nigga. The people ran in the crib on y'all ass. Your ass you was a rider.
Listen.
Around. Like, you wasn't playing with that. I remember that. I didn't think you was gonna say that.
Listen. I thought, what's this your car?
Really,
you want me to you asking the right questions.
I remember that shit. I said, damn. I remember that. I remember them days. You wasn't fucking around.
Listen.
Damn. And it was kind of crazy too, because I'm like, damn, mickell, a rider. You know what I'm saying? Like, I remember that shit, but it's kind of crazy too, because you don't really look like what you've been through. Mm-hmm. Like, that's the, I ain't saying how you mask it, but I be looking at people that been in prison, and I couldn't tell they've been in prison no more because they don't wear it. Mm-hmm. So it's like, that's one thing I think I admire the most about you, is that if I didn't know you, I would think you just like some square. Like, you ain't from the hood. Like, you ain't down. But the whole time, like, you the total opposite.
Listen, like, I'm fucking now, like, in real life.
I know your dude be getting it. He be getting it. I know it. Boy, he got some patience. No wonder why that nigga ain't got no hair.
Listen, shut up. Listen, Ye told him the first thing. He was like, so you dating my sister? He was like, yeah. Ye was like, good luck. I was like, why would he say that?
I ain't gonna lie, you gotta have some patience, but I ain't gonna lie, bro, bro a good dude, man. He always been a good dude, so he got the mental capacity for it.
Right.
We just was hood niggas. We get domestic, we in jail, like, man, why you talking
I
can't take it, so
Yeah, but then even on the flip side, on some real shit, like healing and growing, you learn as well how, like, I had to, like, when you really heal, like, be on some for real stuff, you look your own demons and you learn how to deal with your own demons. And I have to admit, I was toxic. Cause like, I knew how to provoke. I knew how to, like, that's what it was, because that's what I thought it has to be. Like, where I grew up, everybody was fighting their baby mamas and, you know what I'm saying, beefing. And I just thought that's how it was. Like, I remember be like, you don't gotta talk to me like that. And that's what he said. And I'm like, dang, I don't gotta talk to you like that.
Man, you did so much of a change, though. Like you said, nobody perfect, you know what I'm saying? The only thing we perfect in is flaws. Yeah. But I sit there and I'm looking at you being a mental health, a mental health therapist? Mm-hmm. So, like, how did that play a role in your healing and your growth? Mm-hmm. Like, so how did that, and also how did that connect you back to your own roots?
Yeah. That's a good question, because mental health runs so deep in my family, especially like psychosis type of diagnosis, like schizophrenia. Runs big in my family, and I never really understood it. I mean, growing up, and I won't expose my family member's name, but growing up in a particular relative that was close to me, you know, seeing them talk to themselves, or another relative to me walking down the street unclothed, you know, and people talking and not understanding, me not understanding. I always was curious to know, like, what is that? You know, like what does that mean? And then I remember just being a crisis stabilizer and doing mentorship, and I had my client, and I would never forget, I tell this story often, where she had depression, and we were trying to tell her team was trying to tell her dad, like, we think she needs to get on some antidepressant pills. And he was like, what, man? We grew up in the hood. Everybody in the hood depressed. She better go lay her ass down. But I remember feeling, because I'm not an advocate for medicine, even though I'm a clinical therapist, I'm not big on medication. But she really did need something. And that's when I knew, I'm like, I need to learn this. I need to understand this on a deeper level. Like, I want to understand my family dynamic because I'm a little crazy. I got a little like, I'm trying, you know what I'm saying, little screws, little. So I want to understand this. And like, I want to understand because I don't get it. And then look,
hey, this nigga off camera, he back there like, man, boy. But no, it's all good though, because I'm gonna be honest with you. I always want to shout out Charlamagne the God. I want to shout out Kevin Gates, because them was the first brothers that I knew that was really advocate for therapy. And I want to tell anybody like that come from where we come from that the importance about therapy to me is that it doesn't make you weak. It doesn't necessarily mean you got a problem, but it's actually somebody that could listen and don't judge. Because we live in a time where a listening mouth is a running, listening ear is a running mouth. So it's hard to trust. Like, I got a question for you. It's a stigma that's been out there for a long time that who can a black man vent to without being judged, being considered weak or vulnerable? To that you say what? Who can he vent to without being considered weak, soft, vulnerable, without being judged? Because I think that's the reason why a lot of people carry things for a long time. And most men that come from our communities, our neighborhood, we either act out through violence or domestic violence.
I would say that's a really good question. I would definitely say reach out to a mental health professional. It don't have to always be a licensed therapist. It can be someone who is like a licensed life coach or a spiritual guidance coach or a mentor and things like that. But a professional, you want to reach out to a professional that's trained. It's different from talking to your homeboy and your friend. It's good to have those people too, but a professional, we're trained. We're trained in how to go back and listen to you. But it's ironic you say that, because I remember dating my now husband. I remember when we were dating and he was becoming more open with me and becoming more vulnerable with me. And that was the first time ever. And I'm a therapist. I was already a therapist where I'm like, wait, men go through stuff like that? Like, I really didn't know. I'm like, wow, society trick us. Like, society really be making us be like, oh, man got it all together. Ladies, do this, do that. You can put this. They supposed to do this. They supposed to. They don't even allow us or tell us or, you know what I mean, teach us to be like, are you okay though? Yeah. Are you okay? So fast forward, I remember during one of my first speaking engagements, it was a male in the audience asking me the exact similar question you asked. And he was like, people get on these panels and say this. And I looked him dead in his eyes. I said, try me. And then he said he tells the story often, he got goosebumps. He tried me and it changed his life. He's very open about it, you know. I'm going to tag him in this because he always is open, but I'm huge on, but that's for me. So I know that to be true, because not just because I'm saying it, because I'm a therapist, because I witnessed it. And my husband, he's very open about having his therapist as well. So both ways I've witnessed this actually help. And it's so beautiful to watch men go through that.
So this is something I get often too. What if they can't afford it? What if they don't have? What if they state insurance won't cover it? Like what if them situations occur where is resources available for people that it's just like, you know, waivers and programs and stuff like that? Because I think a lot of people don't understand. For men, I don't know, I ain't never had one, but I can imagine that a therapist is somewhat like a barber. You got to find the right one for you. And that's how I look at therapists. Like, this is a barber. I got to find the right person. So when people are struggling with that, where they don't have the resources and the funds, what's some options?
First off, I'm still in that. I'm like, it's like a barber. You got to find the right one. I like that. Because it really is. I tell people all the time, like, a high percentage even of the therapy turnout is based on the rapport that you have with your therapist. So that's very important. But to answer your question, as far as resources, shout out to my homegirl, Dr. Leah Nix. She has a platform where you can actually go and you can search different therapists who does it for free. But I myself at mickell.d.com, I have mental health check-ins where people can remain anonymous if they would like, or they can show their face. Whereas you can get on the camera, it's telehealth, it's fully confidential, and you can check in. And at that time, I can refer you out and refer you to people. I myself have options where it's free. Well, I'll have options where it's free because I also understand Good Karma Day. And again, this is bigger than me. So.
And also, people, like, y'all got to do this too. If you got state insurance, you have to call your state insurance and see what therapists in your local area cover your type of, because like you can call, like when I used to have community children, I'm like, who does this? Like who all these, I can call them and ask them to give me a list of all places that accept this insurance.
Yeah, but you would be surprised how many people don't know that. Yeah. I remember not knowing that. I remember not knowing that when I was first looking for a therapist. And then also it's a new platform, betterhelp.com. I can attest to that because people in my family have utilized betterhelp.com where it allows you different resources as well, and it will allow you to get on a payment a scale.
And you get discounted for like food share.
Okay.
Like $20.
That's dope.
Oh yeah, $20 a month if you got food share.
That's dope. Because I'm gonna be honest with you. As a man, I still struggle with things, but at the end of the day, like I love what you and your husband have, right? So my thing is, so I remember I was talking to this, like right now, so I've been single since February 9th, 2023, right? I was with a girl off and on for about 12 years. And I never forget it. Every time we left each other, took our, what people today call breaks, I started to do better. And every time we came back together, I went right back down. Not like just to the dirt, but just, and the last time she finally admitted it, because I didn't see it like this, but when she said it, she was like, you know what, Javad, you do better without me. And that's just what I see every time we take a, and it hurted me so bad because I was telling her, I said, in the process, because she dealt with a lot of issues. Like, I never forget it. The father of her first daughter, she met him on Valentine's Day. So that's the day she hate, because she hate him. Her father was never in her life, so she didn't even know when Father's Day was and didn't care. So what ended up happening is me and her used to have back and forth because she didn't want to celebrate Valentine's Day, or she didn't want to even acknowledge Father's Day. And I told her, like, baby, you really depriving me of experience based upon someone else did. And after a while, dealing with all her trauma, not having her father, in the process of me pouring into her, trying to fix her, I broke me. And I can't lie, cause I had to, when I meet women today, I tell them, like, listen, I don't want to project. They're like, what you mean? I don't want to project any past traumas that I've been through on you, because that's what we all do. Even if we know or not know, we always project. We take our small sample size of men and women that we dealt with, and we project it out to everybody. And me knowing that, it bothers my spirit. So I said, you know what? I got to take this time to spare them and focus on me. But along the way, shit get lonely, shit get hard, because you so focused like me. I'm so focused in my craft. So when I meet women, I introduce myself as Javad. I don't say I do this, because I got this thing, and I think it's very important for men and women that have stuff going on, entrepreneurs. Like, if you were single and you went with your husband, I'd be like, cuz, whatever you do, don't lead with your accolades. And people be like, what you mean by that? Don't never lead a conversation with a man, or a man don't ever lead a conversation with a woman talking about all the things you got and all the things you own. Take time to let them know you for you and see if they like you. And then when they find out all that stuff, that's an added incentive. When I used to meet girls and say, I've been working at General Mills driving forklifts for 30 years, if you ask a motherfucker. Because every time I meet them, I try to appear regular as possible. Because what happened was, because along my life, I ended up dating groupies. And that shit never worked out for me. So my question to you would be, like, just the small sample size I gave you, what would be like a few key things that you think I should continue to work on in my current situation of my what you want to call it, heartbreak or my disappointment? Like, what would you say? You the therapist lady, you the mental health lady.
What I would say to that, the type of therapist I am is I am a trauma expert, and
I want real talk, not therapist talk.
I'm gonna give it to you funky because I gotta start over because it's gonna be both worlds in there. So first you gotta let them know the type, and I'm gonna let you know why I'm answering this way because I'm gonna let you know I gotta be me, and a part of me is the therapist too. So I can let you get it and understand it, but I'm gonna talk it in your language because that's why I code switch.
Let's go.
So the type of therapist I am, I'm a trauma expert, and I practice something that's EMDR. For those, y'all can go look that up. That's not this type of interview, okay? However, with that being said, because I studied that, I learned that stuff that we get mad for, see here the code switching part, stuff that we trip on, that's surface level. So we'll tell ourselves like, oh, I don't want to date anyone because she broke my heart and I didn't realize that I was pouring so much up into her that I forgot about me and I broke me. I'm gonna say the response because you said therapist lady, so I'm gonna respond that way too and say it's deeper than that because that's one woman. You've dated several women that were beautiful that didn't pull from you, that poured into you. Why are you stuck on that one? I would say that triggered you and it's really a deeper issue. So you need to talk that out because the deeper issue is maybe she reminds you of someone, a mother figure or a woman figure that you looked up to and you were inspired that let you down. So I will go that route.
Now, so I'm gonna tell you this, and we're gonna move on. I found fulfillingness in not working on myself, but trying to work on somebody else, and that gave me validation. That made me feel good. If I can fix somebody or if I can help somebody instead of putting it into myself, I'm afraid to help myself and work on myself, so I'm gonna try to work on this person. And that's where I get my validation from. But then when it don't go the way I want it to go, then I play victim and say, I poured into you, but the whole time I should have took all that and gave it to myself. And that's how I look at it. So. And
do you know what? That's so dope you say that because do you know how many people who can't look themselves in the mirror and be like, wait a minute, wait a minute, for sure, that was me. Yeah, like sure. That right there, that's where it started, right there. So you want to ask, what do you do? Right there, it's admitting like, dang.
Yeah, it's confirmation. I be needing that confirmation sometimes.
Yeah, absolutely.
So Mickell, how did it feel like to go from the streets of your hometown to be on a TED Talk stage? You know I see that. Being on that TED Talk stage, sharing your truth.
What?
How did that feel?
What?
That's something I would love to do. They've been trying to get me to do all that shit, but I'm like, in due time.
When you want to do that, let me know, and you do that. You feel it because it's so transformational. Like, that's what it is. When you like, dog, when you step and look like this, look at my little cousin. It's because of that. It was that transformation. And I just remember saying, like, God, if you put me on this stage, ain't no way I ain't representing for every little black girl, every person anyway who grew up in the inner city. Like, we made it. And I felt like, I ain't gonna lie, because it was in New York. And you know I gotta be hood. So Devon is my husband. So he pulled up to the airport, bumping my booty, like, we about to set it off. So what? He put me right in my.
You was bumping the booty.
Yeah, and my TED Talk called Mask Off. So then he put the future on, Mask Off. You know what I'm saying? So he got me in mode, and I'm just like walking through the airport, there in my speech, like, and then I never forget. Before it was 2 sets, so the first set of people who went up, I was able to see them.
Wait. Okay. He's a hype man, a husband, and a cheerleader. He turned you up.
Listen.
He turned you up.
Listen.
Hey,
right, and he a good bonus that he made sure the kids got there.
That nigga was the hype man, the DJ, the cheerleader. He turned you up.
Listen.
I ain't gonna lie. I never use the word jealous, but I am so, I need that in my life.
Listen.
That's the type of shit you want in your corner.
I ain't even done. That's what I was going to tell you.
Crazy.
That ain't even the killer part.
Pulling up bumpers. I don't know, white people was around looking like,
listen, what? He knew what his wife needed.
Baby, I'm looking for you. I need somebody like that. Come on, baby. I need... This what this shit about though. Partnerships.
Listen.
Like, that's what's up.
Yeah, man. He knew what was gonna get me in mode. And then even I was gonna say, like, right up until the point I was behind the scenes and I was for to go up. And he knew I was for to go up because I was going up after the Les Brown. Shout out to the Les Brown. And he texted me. He was like, listen, these people on here, they ain't you. I need you to come out here. I need you to be Mickey and Mickell. I need you to represent, and I need you to give it to them like you feel it. That's what they need to see, the real you. And when he said that, I'm like, I ain't gonna lie, like, let's say no more, say no more. So to say all of that, how it feel amazing because when I went on that stage, it was more like I did it, not for me, but for the hood. Like, we can do this, like they lie. Like, y'all, we could be on TED Talks too. Like, we could be in New York too. You know?
Where this was at? What city was that? Set the stage from where we was at.
We was in Norwood. We were in Norwood. Yeah, New York.
Or you in New York?
So it was beautiful. It was a community college, and it was like this big stage. It was production. Like in the back, we had a green room. We had a screen room where it was the side for the ladies with the locker room. It was mirrors all around. It was like so amazing. It was so beautiful. And it was like we did an audio check. Like I ain't never had no audio check. Like I felt good. Like you used to that. You've been on the scene forever. But I just felt so like, I'm like, okay, God, I see what you're doing. Like me, Mickey in New York on the stage, getting makeup done, they videoing me. Like it was a transformational because I had to embody it. I had to know like I deserve this so I can go on that stage and be what it is to represent being real, man. Really speaking, you know what I'm saying? Keeping it 100, keeping it funky so my people can get it.
Damn, that's what's up, man. I'm proud of you. I appreciate you sharing that story because to be able to share that stage and be on the TEDx stage, to come from where you come from, it's amazing. And I definitely want to hope you keep going. So I want you to be able, while we on this topic, I want you to tell us about. I seen you had an organization called Glow, and your women movement, Boss Fly Girls. Can you just tell us more about that? Like,
absolutely.
What's the impact on the community? What is Glow about? Why was it founded? What's the purpose? What's the mission statement? Just give us a brief details of that.
Okay. Yeah, shout out to Glow. So Glow stands for Girls Learning to Become Outstanding Women. My organization is Glow 414. And what Glow does is we work on the confidence and the emotional regulation of our girls.
It's a nonprofit?
Yeah, it's a nonprofit. Absolutely. 501c3. So it's a charitable nonprofit where we started back in 2017. Everybody told me don't do it. But then you listen.
You got a board?
Absolutely. We got a board. We meet frequently. We meet every month. We talk, they be on me too. Oh my goodness. You know what I'm saying? You know when you used to, you know what I'm saying? You gotta what? I gotta check with them. But yeah, it's based in the inner city, but now we're nationally known and we're actually evidence-based for when a girl goes through our program, there is gonna be an increase. It was 95% of girls increase in confidence and a decrease in aggression. Not only that, I just got word that, and it's not just for the cute stuff. So it's a whole team where we got Credible Messenger, where we partner with Milwaukee County. We partner with them for Juneteenth. The news are where I'm from. The news are not reporting the positive things. We had nearly 600 youth register for us for preventive work to get in the teen center, like the teen session of Juneteenth. There was no fights. There were no like arguments or anything. So we're really doing the work on the ground from building those confidence, but really we're also in the detention center. So just really meeting them where they are for real, whether you're up here where you're like, I'm an entrepreneur, I need help with that. Or if you like, I lost hope. How you gonna tell me it's hope where I see my mama doped up? How you gonna tell me I'm gonna tell you hope because not even just me, but my staff also can have that same story as you. And we can still let you know and meet you where you are. So that's what Glow is about. Yep, and then, transition. Look at my baby, y'all. Look at my baby, you know what I'm saying? Sure. I got my transitional living home, and the reason why I did my transitional living home, really quick story is, I was a teen mom, and I remember Windsor Court. Windsor Court, I got accepted into my projects, Windsor Court, and I had my rent was $50. I remember getting like you said, I always thought a little bit different. I always thought different. So I got my first corporate job. Fast forward, they made my rent. They turned it up to $500. And I was like, I'm finna quit. Like, I can just do my thing on the low, I want my rent to be $50, and I sell a little weed on the side. And then I checked myself like, no, if you can pay $500, that means you can go pay $800 and go get up out of this. So that was the other part of the first question you asked me, the second part of that pivotal moment as well. But I say all that to say, that's why I started a transitional home. I have a transitional home to teach my young men now. We have a young man, I partner with my husband, and we have a young man as well, but we also have young ladies where we have these units and we teach them real skills. My goal is to have them there only for a year because I don't want you to be excited about our apartments. We got to teach you these tools, save your money, bank accounts, how real, like what's the bigger picture here. And then we help them transition and find their real first apartment because I don't want them to get trapped in the mindset of staying in the system. I want them to be able to utilize it how they're supposed to.
Okay, that's dope. Real quick, you speak a lot about your husband, which is great. With that entrepreneur spirit coming from being a hustler and then changing your life and doing this entrepreneur spirit, what's some key tools and values that your husband instilled on you that helps you kind of like tighten up what you already had going on? Like what can you remember that you like, damn, I'm glad I got him for this, or what did he pour into a part of your entrepreneurship?
You saying that instantly, what came up in my mind was I remember meeting him at one of his investment. He was looking at an investment opportunity, and I had met him there, and I was so frustrated in my emotions. A lot of us women be in our emotions, but I'm gonna tell y'all about that anyway. And I was emotional, and I was just like, man, they playing with my contract, like they ain't pay me in a month. I had this big contract with Milwaukee County, and I'm like, and he was like, what? And he was like, you never put all your eggs in one basket. Like, why? Why is that your only resource? So what you need to do is you need to get something else. So when they playing with your money, because now you got to expect this behavior out of them. You got to plan for them to play with you every year around this time. Now you got your different eggs spread out. When he said that, it changed the game. I became a millionaire within a year.
And he was not your husband at that time?
No, he was not.
Wow. Oh, I had to keep this nigga. You give me advice, nigga. We get together. Come here, nigga. Come here. What you drinking?
What you drinking? We'll take you out on the leg. You know what I'm saying? Got your bath water in.
Hey, yes.
What we doing?
That's
what we doing?
Up.
I just knew right away, like even on some real shit, keeping it funky. Like on our first date, when he took me out for my birthday, he smooth or whatever. You're gonna have to interview us together for that story. However, it was a health situation going on, and you have to have a certain card to get in a certain situation. And he had invited me to this fancy establishment that you needed to have that particular ID, and I'm like, I don't have that. And then he was like, give me a minute, and he texted me like, meet me here in 30 minutes. Like, I'm like, all right. So I met him. As soon as I got out the car, he slid me. And I was like, this is my nigga.
Yeah, right.
I'm like, nah. Because I thought he was corporate too. I'm like, oh yeah, we locked in. He this and this like me. Oh yeah. Say less. But I knew I was in love at that point.
Okay. All right. I just wanted to get that out. So I got something I want to talk to you about this. That's, even though it's a lot of different concepts out there, I want to know yours. So, you know, growing up in the hood and in the ghettos, you know, they always say what happens in this house stays in this house. My question to you is, how do we break that mindset and make people open up about mental health? Because me and you both know, man, that shit wasn't right. Like when I was young, before you answer the question,
go ahead.
We was taught, historically, black people, we was taught to protect some of the sickest motherfuckers in our village. And all that happened in the house, stay in the house, like, you know what happens in them situations. Perverted activities, touching, and all kind of things happen growing up. And I think to this day, that's almost like a form of prison mentally for kids, to trap my mind to believe, like, I can't say nothing. I gotta just deal with this. So, like, how do we break through and change that mindset to make so people can open up about it? Because it's people that I know personally that they're in their 40s. They still ain't over some shit from their childhood.
Oh, yeah.
And, like, I'm talking about family members I know close to me, love them to death. They still ain't over shit that happened when they was 9, 10, and 11. And they carrying that shit all the way into their adulthood. So, like, how do we change that mindset? Like, what would be some of the key solutions that we can actually use because by you being in mental health therapy and dealing with trauma, that's kind of, I don't like to say the worst part of trauma, but it is a form of trauma that starts at the beginning stages. And by starting at the beginning of the stages of your journey getting older, you carry that with you for so long to where it's two things they do. You open up about it or you bottle it in. And if you open up about it and people shun you for it or make you feel the type of way for it, then you close up. So like, to get to the original question, like, how do we change that mindset and like actually how do we change that mindset so people can open up more about what they've been through, especially because that's a form of mental health, ain't it?
Yeah.
Okay.
And the first
I was
thing,
long-winded, I
you was
apologize.
no, you wasn't, because I was getting it and I was feeling it, because it needs to be said the way you said it so it can land on the ears it's supposed to. So my point of saying that is I didn't even know that some of the things I went through was traumatic events. I tell this story often where in grad school, I remember my professor writing on the board different situations, and we had to say if it was a stressor, a high stressor, or a traumatic event. And I put high stressor, high stressor. Have you ever heard a gunshot? High stressor. Have you ever saw somebody? Whatever. And I'm like, when we were done, nigga, I got an F on that test, because most of the stuff that I said was high stressors was actually traumatic events. I didn't know. So to answer your question, what we can start doing is creating spaces where vulnerability is embraced and authenticity is celebrated. And what do I mean by that in our language is we got to create spaces where you can be 100. And how do we create spaces to do that? We got to first start being 100. Create spaces like that where we can real have a open conversation and people understand, dang, I'm not the only one, and then they won't be shamed. So if somebody make them feel bad about it, you don't feel shame because that person I'm looking up to, they going through it too. It's like you're not really understanding. The more you bottle that in, you gonna start playing with yourself and you robbing yourself of your life. It only matter if you allow it to matter. We only care not because what they think. We only care because we care about what we think they think. So when you feel shame, it's 9 times out of 10 you told your story of what the world think about you. You don't even know.
Yeah,
We
that's
gotta be 100.
I was gonna say this for last because me personally, I don't know how I'm gonna feel even talking about it, but losing your brother, which is my cousin, Yayo, to gun violence, senseless. After, to give a little context, went to Atlanta, left this place, literally left Milwaukee, was down in Atlanta for maybe about 3 years.
Yeah.
I never forget it. He used to call me and Big Man, cuz y'all need to come down here, take his pictures and shit. You know, standing on that little balcony with the little hat and shit, the little suit. You know how he is. Miss, how about it? And to like come back to Milwaukee only for a funeral and get killed leaving a funeral. How have you found, because I get it, everybody say life goes on. But what I learned is you can't tell people how to grieve and how long they should grieve. But how have you found the strength to go forward and not really revert back and still give to the community?
Yeah, that's tough. That's really tough, because I ain't gonna lie, fam. That one took me out. We might need some tissue, because
Give me that towel right there.
that took me out, because it's like, you do right? You get it out the hood, but they don't tell us like, okay, you can make it out the hood, but that don't mean the hood still ain't the hood, you know. So, and to just know my brother, so to know my brother loved people, he just wanted them to love him back. So to see that this man could not go to where he grew up, like, and just be like, what's up, y'all? Like, y'all kill him. And
Take your time.
To know, like, being at that funeral, being at the funeral with him moments before that, and seeing later the surveillance camera and them shoot my brother, and seeing that the people that was standing outside, some of them just was hugging me and my brother in the hallway 30 minutes before. And to know that my brother didn't see that coming and he was leading with love. And to know that I had to be the first one they called on the scene. Like, hey, Mickey, because you know it's in me. So they going to call me first. They said they giving Yay CPR. I thought it was my brother Hart because remember, he was with your brother when he had collapsed last time and we found out, you know. And to get to that scene and just to know you just hugged your brother 30 minutes later and to know I'm a therapist and I teach people about grieving and denial, but I couldn't believe it. I remember Devon was with me when I called, because when I called, I was with him, and I ran to the scene. I was the first on the scene, and I'm like, I'm tricking my brain, like, that's black pants. Nope, I don't think you had on black pants. And Devon asked the officer the name. I'm like, can I just have the last name? And when they said Bates, it's like my whole world just stopped. And then I instantly was like, how I'm going to tell my mama? It's just me and my brother. Like, how I'm going to tell my mama? My brother gone. And then, like 2 minutes after that, to hear them talking and to hear it was gunshot bullets in the car. Because again, at this time, I'm thinking my brother had a heart attack and he got in a car accident. To hear that, that's when I broke down. And I'm like, they killed my brother? Like, they killed my brother? Like, I just remember, like, constantly saying that, like, I just couldn't believe it. Because then I just thought about all the times where he was like, man, Mickey, they want me, they don't want me alive, they want to kill me. And I remember just getting frustrated, like, man, you in Atlanta now, fuck them. You know what I'm saying? Like, live your life, they don't matter, don't, you know what I'm saying, focus. And it's like, damn, they really wanted to kill my brother. And on some real stuff, like, I just wanted to be like, man, the hood me wanted to be like, fag ass niggas was standing outside, you know what I'm saying? Ain't nobody saying nothing, because he still on like go. I'm just, like you said, it was always in me. I was different. I just feel like when people bogus, they bogus. It is what it is. You file for that. So it was just so disheartening. And then for me to give back in the community, it's like, I did it. I felt like I did it right. I made it out. I tried to educate people. I did educate some. And y'all killed my brother. It made me feel like all this for nothing. Like, what is this? It made me just question a lot in that moment. Like, what am I being good for? And then this man still on the run. Like, it made me think, like, people can just do whatever, you know, but that's how the enemy get in your head. And I'm like, then I was mad at his people, if I'm being 100, because I'm like, y'all, if I want who I was, like, it'd be a done doctor. Like, nah, y'all weak too. Like, all that stuff, y'all. Like, it was so many things, if I'm being very honest and open. However, I'm just so glad that I'm blessed that I have people around me that allow me to vent, but just knew I was just venting to get it out. Because when the dust settles, it's still a part of you. But then I feel my brother. I remember his laugh. You know, I have his deep, like he was writing a movie. I have that. I have his lyrics. I have his music. I feel my brother. I remember our conversations. Dog, my brother thought I was Beyonce. Like, he used to call me like, Mickey, I got this idea, folks. So all you got to do is this, right, Mickey? All you got to do is this. I'm like, dog, who do you think I am? But this is who he always thought I was, cuz. He always saw me like this, and I never could see that. So to answer your question, that's how I just went. And the more I started just taking that anger, going through my own therapy, going through EMDR, where I'm processing the trauma and really taking it day by day, leaning on my fucking team. Shout out to my team. Leaning out to my husband. He was there when, you know, when the dust settled, it's nighttime. I was laying on his chest crying that night, not believing it. He helped me up when I found out. He helped my mama up when I had to look her in her eyes and tell her her baby was across the field. Like, all of that. So it was like a movie, because instantly I had to snap into therapist mode to calm my mama, make sure I'm taking care of everything now. So I really still haven't grieved, if I'm being honest.
You know, it's been what, 2 years now?
2 years. Yeah, May 18th, May 2 years.
I'm gonna be honest with you, like, and I'm gonna tell you niggas, like, to be real, you niggas ain't getting no points for that shit. Yayo was the most non-confrontational, non-violent nigga that I probably ever met. Dude was never on that. He wasn't even a threat If we being real.
Come on now.
Like, Ye wasn't no, I ain't saying this shit because Ye wasn't no threat to nobody, and you don't get no points for that. For a nigga to know he coming to a funeral just to try to get him out the way, it just, to this day, like, it puzzles me the amount of people who know who did what. The
amount of people who was standing out there.
It bothers me. And it just for clarity, was Lil Kenny ever cleared for his so-called involvement? Because
when
everybody
you say
in the family.
Clear, what do you mean?
So
Are you
that's what
talking
I mean.
about how?
Because look, they was saying Lil Kenny was walking from the funeral with the nigga that supposed to kill him. You know what I'm saying? That was like the worst thing that bothered me, because I'm like, everybody was trying to get me to believe Kenny. And I'm just wondering, like, how has the family dealt with him being, accused of some shit like that? Because this day, I don't know if it's true or not, but that kind of bothered me because I think he took that hard. I mean, you don't got to talk about it, but I'm just looking at
this is how I go ahead. I'm sorry.
I don't know how to look at that, man, because, you know what I'm saying, Kenny, that's family. You know what I'm saying? And in my mind, this is just how I look at it. If he was walking back from a funeral with a nigga, I truly believe that, man, Kenny had no fucking idea that anybody was gonna do anything to him. And if he did, I think the whole thing would have went a different way. That's just how I feel. But to hear his name and that shit, it just bothered me a little bit. Because I ain't gonna lie, you remember I was at the funeral. And I know you don't probably remember, I know your husband remember, because I think he came right after me. And I don't remember verbatimly, but I came up there and spoke. And I used Yay. How about it?
You spoke right after me.
Yeah.
No, after D.
Yeah. And matter of
D
fact,
went after you.
He went after me.
Yeah, it was me, you.
Because he was like, how he gonna follow up what I did.
Yeah.
But it was because of you I went up there. You told me to go up there. You said, go, come on. And I'm like, I didn't want to.
Right, you like, no, I'm like, come on, you got to.
I didn't want to say nothing because my heart was in so, and I was thinking about us as a family. How I don't know if I ever talk about this, but you know what happened to me with my cousin.
Yeah.
You know what happened.
Yeah.
So the Ye situation and people that's supposed to be fine being involved hit me way different than it hit any of y'all.
Damn, I never thought about it. I ain't think about it like that.
You gotta realize,
because you wouldn't know some truth to be true then. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Absolutely.
Because of what happened to me.
Absolutely.
So me having that was a trauma. That was a trigger for me. So, I love Ye. I'm gonna miss Ye. And it's just one of those unfortunate situations that where he had to be the example of everybody always get hurt or killed from where they're from. Don't get me wrong. The funeral he came to, who was that to him?
Victor's first cousin.
That was Victor's first cousin.
That's Lily's brother.
Man, you'll never want to say I wish he never came to the funeral, but it's kind of like, damn.
I wish he never came. I wish he would have not turned down that alley like everybody told him to. My mom was on the phone with him the day prior saying, like, weeks prior, and just tell him don't come. He like, man, I gotta come. That's Big Vic. That's my favorite cousin. He would have came for me, feeling like he can come and things like that. But to go back to your original question, yes, I also heard that Kenny was walking back from through the alley. I had conversations with people about that where they're like, well, just imagine being him. Like, people was mad at me because when he showed up to my mom's house, I instantly walked out because I know where I am and I know who I am as well. So let me get up out of here because I'm hearing your name too much and I don't know how that's gonna be. People feel like I was acting too dramatic. They said that to me. How am I acting too dramatic? I'm hearing that our first cousin name is in this allegedly walking down the alley with the person who killed my brother. So why would I want to see you? You know what I mean? So fast forward where he tried to have a conversation with me before I left, and I'm like, don't talk to me right now. And he trying to, but Mickey, come here, let me just explain. don't talk to me right now. We're in my mama's house. I don't want to disrespect my mom. So yes, I also heard that. What I don't know is the story, and I'm like, I just want to know the story, like why. Like I want to have a conversation, and I hate the therapist in me because I really just want to know why. Like I want to. Do you feel better now? Like why? And then why is people name involved? It's too many names that's involved, with the whole situation. So absolutely, he was said to be walking with. He was said to be seen, somewhere else shortly after that as well. He didn't come to the funeral. It's a lot of things. Am I saying he did it? No. I do think, not necessarily him, but I do think some people, he was saying that he was going to kill my brother, and I just think that some people didn't believe he was really going to do it. Like, that's what I believe with some of the people. However, it's other people that I believe knew he was on that type of time and was with that. And I do also think that some people fed him throughout the years, because what people don't know is conversations that my brother said, moments before that and weeks before that, that he said he wanted my brother dead. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's more to the story, and I'm not afraid to say that because I'm vocal with that.
It's all good, because I'm going to be honest with you. Rest in peace to Yayo. Man, we going to miss you, bro. Love you like a motherfucker. How about it?
Listen, him like, Mickey, I watched that interview before. Y'all crazy.
Yeah, I can see him now. Yeah, I like.
They killed the real one. And it's like, dang, the real one is like what you say. People go back to their hood. Even the people, the quote-unquote famous people go back to their hood.
You get hated the most where you from.
Yeah.
Because what I learned is, I'm going to leave it with this, is that familiarity brings entitlement. Entitlement breeds disrespect. You too familiar with me. That's why when I'm out here, I don't go places where I used to go. I'm not accessible no more. Mm-hmm. I don't want that familiarity with people, because it brings entitlement. Yeah. Like, I owe you something. I don't, boss. I work for this shit. I earned this. I gained the national audience from the ground. I was checking it out, boss, you niggas to death. 3-4 videos a day for 2 years straight. And essentially is that when people are too familiar with you, they entitled. And then when they entitled, they be disrespect. Not just disrespecting your faith, they can disrespect your worth, your value. Because where you from, people minimize you. Mm-hmm. They don't value that. That's why I want to say on camera, I appreciate you and your husband, because y'all value me. And that's something that's that shit gonna stick with me for a while. Because I'm that type of, I'm a personal type of nigga, like where people from around the world, they respect it already. But to get somebody from my hometown, and y'all to be it just mean the world to me. But we gonna keep repping, man. We gonna keep lifting Yayo up, man. And man, I appreciate you. We went over the time. Like, we supposed to be in like 30, 40 minutes. We done went an hour, but it was worth it. And I'm gonna love this. I'm gonna love this when it come out. Man, I appreciate you, cuz.
No problem.
I'm proud of you. Always loves you. You always been ahead of your time. You got a wonderful partner. It's cool to have a husband. It's better to have a partner.
There you go.
And I look forward to chopping it up with you again soon.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Come on. Where they can find you. Put your stuff up.
Yes. Look at that. See, that's on my baby.
Be on it. Go ahead. Where you at?
You know what I'm saying? So where I'm at on Instagram, you can find me at therapist_Mickell D. Therapist Mickell D. Mickell. Also, my website, mickellD.com. You will see all of my upcoming events. And then also you'll see the link. Lastly, shout out to Mill, because I'm having a release. I am having a release at Brownstone, Milwaukee this Wednesday. It's the actual premiere of my TEDx talk. Y'all know I have to bring it back home. So make sure you go to BeTheRealYouNow.com. BeTheRealYouNow.com to register for that live event.
Believe that.